Hello, this is Tom Britt. West Tennessee PBS is working hard to bring you more local shows and quality PBS programs. And they need your financial help because they don't run commercials, they rely on your support. It's easy to donate. Go to their website, westtnpbs.org, and click on the Donate tab. Your donations to Channel 11 stay local and help WLJT-TV continue their mission to be as local as possible.
Thank you. I'm excited to introduce to everybody TRICOR. We'll learn a little bit more about it. They're inside the Tennessee Department of Corrections. They are the group that does the manufacturing and does lots of other. We'll hear about that. And I'm going to bring to you two different speakers. David Hart, which is our Chief Executive Officer, and we're within 12 different correction facilities across the state. David has 36 years experience in business, government, workforce development. He has BS in the business administration and finance, and of course it's got his MBA too. And also bring Troy Shanks with him. Troy represents the Chief Customer Officer, which works with the customers, which will explain who our customers are. And he joined us in 2014, and of course Troy's a pretty hard worker, a graduate of UT Martin, and of course I guess I'll bring up David first.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank the Rotary Club for inviting us, and for Mr. Lawrence, for really pushing us to come and talk to you all a little bit about TRICOR. TRICOR is a state agency. We're really kind of under boards and commissions because we have a 9-member board that governs our agency. We work with the Department of Correction, and we control all of the correctional industries, which is manufacturing, business services, and agriculture. We have approximately 800 to 850 offenders that work in our programs every day, across the state. One of the things that I think is most impressive about our organization is the staff, and our staff is small but mighty. We have less than 80 full-time staff members that work with the offenders on a daily basis that are teaching them job skills, teaching them pro-social and cognitive behavior restructuring skills, and teaching them how to be good employees, whenever they are released back into the community. 97–98% of all the offenders that are incarcerated today will come back into our communities at some point and be yours and my neighbors. It's TRICOR's job to make sure that these men and women are prepared to be able to do that and to be productive citizens, once they're released. Our whole goal is to make sure that they do not come back into the prison system, and we've been very successful with that over the years. One of the things that I think that I'm most proud of is, our recidivism rate. Typically, we're 10 to 15% less than what the state average is. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that, but and again, that goes back to the hard work that our men and women do in the prisons each day. It's a very difficult job. If you can imagine going in and out of a prison on a daily basis, working in an environment that it definitely is not a normal environment, but still, having the fortitude to realize that what we do is critical and it's important, because it really does save the taxpayers of the state of Tennessee, which is you and I, a lot of money, because we offset a lot of programming costs that otherwise would have to be funded with the Department of Corrections. So we're really proud of that. One of the mandates in our statute that we really focus a lot on is job skills. And one of the things that we have realized out in the state of Tennessee over the years is that there's a deficiency in certain areas, especially in the construction trades and a few other areas like that, where it's very hard to find skilled workers that can do all the jobs that we need to be done. So, one of the things that we're focused on is making sure that they have relevant skills in these areas as well as a lot of other areas, and making sure that, they're prepared. And it's a big boon for the employers out in the state, because now then they're getting a skilled worker that, is dedicated, they're committed, they understand what they need to do, and they also know that they have to do it better than anybody else, because all eyes are on them, whenever they are released. So with that, I want to introduce or bring Troy up. Even though he's from Western Tennessee, he's still a pretty good guy, and I always make fun of Troy because he's the longest lasting sales chief that we've had. Troy's been with our organization 11 years now, and I think the second month or the third month we were traveling in West Tennessee, and we were up at Northwest Correctional, and I thought we'd just kind of go cross country. And Troy tells the story a little bit better than I do, but he said basically we ended up in the middle of a cornfield somewhere. So, I just go as the crow flies. And then on that trip also, we came upon an RV, and the RV was on fire. And Troy always says, the best thing you did was you got on the other side of the RV before we stopped and helped out. So, but Troy's done a great job, and he's going to really tell you a lot more about some of the products and services that TRICOR does. So, Troy?
So I just want to give you all a few numbers about what we do on a daily basis. And, well, before I say that, one of the most things I'm probably excited about, or when you go into any one of our facilities, I don't care which employee you ask, but I promise you can ask them what our mission is, and every one of them, I would bet anybody in here any amount of money, every one of them's going to say to prepare offenders for success after release. I know it's a short mission, but they believe in it, and they truly believe and care about how the success of these individuals when they get out. So with that, we do about 850,000 to 900,000 hours a year of occupational skills training with these offenders. We have, as David mentioned earlier, we got about 800 to 830 different individuals that we program on a daily basis. With that, we average somewhere around $70,000 to $100,000 a year that we pay back to victim restitution funds every year. In addition, $270,000 that we pay to offenders goes into their savings. As you saw, they have a mandatory savings account. So one of the big things that happens when they get out is they have money in their pocket to get a place to live, transportation, whatever it might need. There's a few things that really hold them back from being able to be successful when they get out. In addition, we approximately about, you saw some of the numbers, but in FY24 alone, we saved the state of Tennessee about $10 million in taxpayers. One of the great things when we go in front of a budget review committee is we don't ask for money. We are self-sustainable. We do that by selling the products that we have and also by the private partnerships. So currently right now we have about 22 different operations at 12 different sites across the state of Tennessee. And with that I have 7 different private partners. When I mean a private partner, so if I go through the list of what we have, so in West Tennessee alone, in Northwest Correctional, we have a commissary program. So we do all the commissary for the Department of Corrections across the state of Tennessee. We do a pick, pack, and ship operations. All the material comes in there. We have the inventory. We package it and we ship it out across the state. We have one there and we have one at Northeast Corrections in Mountain City, Tennessee. But in addition, West Tennessee, at West Tennessee Farm, we do the farm in there. We farm about 2,500 acres. We do corn, beans, and wheat for the most part. Then we have a textile operation. We also have 2 call center operations. Our textile is in our men's and the call center is in our women's. And then in Mark Luttrell down in Memphis, we have a building trades program. At Turney Center in Only, Tennessee, we make engineered hardwood flooring with American hardwood flooring. So we actually have a finishing line there. It's about a 600-foot long finishing line. It's a great program that we have at that site. Then you go into Middle Tennessee, of course, what everybody thinks about correctional industries is license plates. And yes, we do make license plates, but it's a lot more than making the license plates. It's still a combination of pick, pack, and chip operation. The printer alone that we have, we got it from 3M. It is an outstanding printer that we have. That printer is about a $1.7 million printer that we currently have there. So it's a high-tech type job that they're learning. They'll be able to transition them skills over as well. One of the things I'm probably as proud about is our Braille operation. So we do this for the School of the Blind. We save them about $250,000 to $300,000 a year because we make the Braille books for them. I did not realize this when we got into Braille, but a Braille textbook can cost $40,000 to $50,000. And so we make them, and then in turn, we still make a little bit because we'll sell to other states or other institutions that need this for them because we have the copyrights once we do that. We have 3 gentlemen in there. There's about 32 individuals right now that have Braille certification, but we have 3 alone that have music. I can't even read music, and they can do music Braille. So I'm really proud of them. It's a great program that we have. Like I said, that's at no cost pay. We actually save the money for the state there. And at our DGRC, our women's facility, we have we have call center seats there, but we got 4 different partners at that facility alone. Then we have a print plant down in Clifton, Tennessee. I think you saw that on the video. We also have another call center there, and we also do embroidery, heat press. We do uniforms for other state agencies, one being example, Department of Tourism. Then as we get over in East Tennessee, we'd have another farming operation at Bledsoe where we do beef cattle. And then we also have our cleaning products. We manufacture our industrial cleaning products that we sell across to state government across the state of Tennessee. We have another partnership with Shaw Flooring. I don't know if any of y'all have ever driven through Dalton, Georgia, but you'll see all the Shaw. So we have a private partnership with them there as well. Go up into our Morgan County facility. We have a textile operation at that site, one with the government and also one with a private partner that we do some things out of a company out of North Carolina. Then if you go over in East Tennessee, I talked a little bit about the commissary program that we have. So we have that. We also do, I'm sure a lot of y'all visit Florida for vacation, but as you drive through Florida, they have, their toll booths, and they just take a picture of your license plates. Well, the ones that they can't match up, that they can't read, we do that image validation for them at Northeast Correctional Facility. And so basically they match it up, and so we'll send it back to them, and they can invoice the customer. But as I said, I'm very proud of this organization. I know David said I'm the longest running chief customer officer they had. That wasn't saying much. I didn't have a long ways to go to beat the predecessors. I think they had about 1.5 years, 2 years tops on that. But it's truly something that I believe in. I'm passionate about this, and it's really good when you go out and you see somebody that was in your program. Not only if we can hire them back, because we try to do that. I've hired several back in my customer service department, but having them back into this and seeing them out in public and them being successful, I mean, it brings, even though I might not have had any direct interactions with them on a daily basis, but still seeing them, I know that what my team did and what they were able to do was able to help them be successful. And so at this point, I'll take any questions, and if David and myself will take any Q&A if y'all have any questions for us. Yes, ma'am.
How does a vendor get in the program?
So we try to make it as real life as possible. That's a great question. So they actually have to get on the job register. They didn't have to come. They are not told. They're not mandated. It's one of the few that they actually have to ask to come on. So they get on job register. They then go through an interview process, and we treat it as real world as possible. So they either get through that interview process or they don't. And if they don't, then they got time to come back. We'll tell them certain things they need to work on. Then when they get in our program, we still do the same thing. So we have one-on-one meetings with them. We have, if there's an issue, we'll put them on a plan to try to help them get better. So we'll work with them through that. But like I said, we try to give them as real life as possible.
Is your 850 number your capacity?
It is not, but it's we're close to getting to that capacity. And so that's what David strives for me to do is we want to fill up every site that we have. And then in addition, we're trying to get other buildings built so we can add more offenders to that. So we would love to be around 1,100, 1,200 is probably the max that we will be able to do. Not only that, it's just having people that can qualify to even get in our program at that point across the state of Tennessee.
At one time, we had, I think, a high of around 1,300 offenders working in programs, but partners come and go, and as they have moved around and their businesses have changed, our numbers will fluctuate because of that.
Yes, sir.
Does TRICOR reach out to employers to encourage them to hire offenders, to talk about the benefits of hiring?
We do. So my team does that. We actually go out and we will talk with them. It's sort of a catch-22. We don't want to over-publicize. That's why you don't see anything. We're not trying to advertise and do that. Because at the end of the day, we have a certain criteria that we need them to meet. That employer's got to be, if they came to me and said, I just want to do it because I'm trying to save money, then that's not the employer for us. They got to be willing also to hire them when they come out. They got to be able to work with us, and they got to truly believe in our mission and have that same value that we're looking for. And so it is, but we do approach them. A lot of it is just from our reputation that we have. We have companies that reach out to us and talk to us about trying to set up an operation as well.
It's part of our reentry piece of what we do, and we'll contact a lot of different employers in different areas, and job fairs are important for us. And also, we partner with Department of Correction. They have a database as well of potential employers. And so we're reaching out and we're talking to them all the time. And as Troy said, a lot of them will contact us and say, hey, if you got somebody, send them to us. So if any of you are, hiring managers or owners of businesses or whatever, please consider, the offender or this workforce. It's an untapped source, but they're very skilled. I came out of the private sector. I worked for 20-some years in a lot of different positions in manufacturing and corporate office type stuff, and I've worked with a lot of different workforces from Midwest to California, which would be more Hispanic, and they're here in the South, which is a little bit of everything. And I'll put this workforce up against any of them. It's how dedicated and how focused they are on doing a really good job.
And I'll reiterate that. I came from a private sector as well. When I stepped into it, I had the same conception, that I was thinking, okay, they're not going to do the job halfway. I was never so wrong in my life. I had call centers in my previous job. We got call centers down. I would put our call centers up against any free world call center that we have out there. And so as David talked about, if you have a need for anything like that, we'd be more than happy. And we're also branched out. We have done a program with counties. The biggest thing we run into with counties is doing it in the county jails, because we are now, thanks to Senator Jackson, I know we had some legislation passed, so we're able to work with counties. We did with Shelby County for a while at Shelby Farms. We had a nice recycle program that we were doing with them. Just unfortunately, we tried and just couldn't make it work. But yeah, we're looking to go into counties and expand, so that helps us bring more people that we're able to help the program when we go out there inside. Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming. I think you touched on this, but I didn't understand it. So if, I think you said 95% of the offenders will come out, what is the return rate for 95% that don't go through this program, and what's the return rate for people that do your program?
Typically, where the state is right now is in 35, 38% recidivism, meaning that they're coming back in. Ours, we're around 15 to 18%. So it's about a 20% gap.
And we've been as low as 11.5% in that ballpark. But the national average across the board, and our Department of Corrections they do a lot on their own and also doing programming as well, and they've come a long ways. They used to be about 50%, which is about the national average. So in the counties, it's even worse. I mean, I've been to some counties and they have about an 80% recidivism rate. And so, and for those that don't know how we calculate recidivism, it's a look, I don't care where you go to, states count it in different ways, but how we count it is, you basically, if you come back to prison within 3 years, or you're arrested within 3 years, then it counts against your recidivism. Regardless, how to me, it's not as important on how states track it. It's what do you do with that information? Why do you understand it? We do a really good job. Our transition team, I know you saw Ms. Gibson that was on the video. They do a really good job of understanding why they came out. One thing we're running into now, while we're a little bit high right now, is this is a group that was during COVID. They got out there in the COVID area, just with a lot of opportunities. And so makes you go back to some of the things that you were doing previously to get you put back in. So we saw a little bit of spike, but we understand why they're coming back in, and we try to curtail because it's 3 years from now. You're trying to figure out how are you going to do something today that when that person gets out, what's going to make it sustainable for 3 years. So we do a really good job of tracking that and trying to make our programs that affects them in a positive way. Yes, sir.
I think it's a great program, and there needs to be more of it. I also like the 100% self-funded. My question is, to expand, is that largely market-driven, or would it require state action for you to increase workforce, build additional facilities, whatever you need?
It's a little of both. Obviously, the market really drives particular partners can be anywhere from 30 individuals to, I think one partner we had was over 300 at one site. So, that's the market piece. As far as state and everything, we only have so much space within the facilities, and unless we build additional space, sometimes we are limited by that. The other thing is that there is a number that we know that we can't go over with a percent of the total population that's incarcerated. What we found is, we used to think that we could program up to 10% of eligible offenders in TDOC, which would be roughly, at that time, was around 1,600 individuals. And as we started approaching that, we got to 1,400. We really taxed that system because they still have to have, workers inside for kitchen, yard duty, laundry, all those kind of services that they rely on the offenders to do. So that number for us is really around 6 to 7% of that population. So there's a couple constraints in there, but to the most part, he brings a partner in. We have a great relationship with the Department of Correction, and they make as much of these things happen for us as we can. So, and I know we had a phone call. I think it was with you, wasn't it?
Yeah, not me. I'm in the side of this. I'm a judge, so, but I can call you.
Okay. Face is familiar, maybe I'm just seeing the face.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in every prison?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Well, all right, let me back. So we're in every state prison. So we do have, there are some private facilities.
Yes.
Trisdale has one, and then Hardeman and Whitehall. But we are looking at trying to do, the biggest thing we run into there is space. We don't have industry space to be able to put a program. So we're looking at, with that, we're working with Core Civic on that side. Because we do at South Central, they manage that state facility. And so we do have some robust operations at that site.
I don't think you mentioned anything about juvenile facilities. Do you have relation, or did you?
We don't do anything with juveniles right now. We have the statute authority to work with them, but again, space in those sites, and then work programs with juveniles is pretty sketchy. So we haven't really tackled that piece of it. And to be honest with you, Department of Correction really hasn't come to us and asked us to do much with that.
Thank you. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. I've had the pleasure, I say, I'm not sure if it's a pleasure, but being chairman of corrections for the last 11 years in the Senate, working with these guys very, very closely. The work that they do is amazing, and it does the recidivism rate. Recidivism rate, for those that you don't know what recidivism rate is, if you get out, you get out on parole out of prison and you don't reoffend within 3 years, then that's the recidivism rate. But if you come back in before the 3 years, then that raises your recidivism rate. So the lower you can get the recidivism rate is good. And these programs that they provide, for example, last week I was over in West Tennessee Correctional Facility, and the men and women's side. There's two women's prisons in the state, one over in Lauderdale County and one in Nashville, Deborah K. Johnson. And but the men's facility, they make all the uniforms for the correctional, for everybody in the corrections, make the uniforms for the actually the officers too, I think.
No, just for the
offenders. Just the offenders.
Just the offenders. And it's amazing. I mean, to see these guys with working sewing machines, hundreds of sewing machines in this huge warehouse type operation was amazing to see how they make the uniforms. Another thing that they do up in Northwest, up in Lake County, is they have the commissary. They mentioned commissary. Now, every offender gets commissary. They have to purchase that, the commissary, if they want just extra snacks or chips or just different things, candy bars or whatever. They have to purchase that, and they go to the commissary and get it. But a lot of things were coming in from outside, contraband, such as drugs, cell phones, just you name it, cigarettes. So they're not allowed to have cigarettes, so that's a big item too in correctional facilities. So cigarettes would be smuggled in. Well, with the commissary, the way they have this, it's an Amazon type operation. They have a packaging here. All the commissary items are right here. They get a sheet and they pick what each inmate wants, put it in the box, they seal it up, they label it, and that box can't be opened until it gets to that offender. A lot of times contraband would be stuffed into whatever, where the inmates could get contraband easily, and that's why drugs and alcohol, drugs and cell phones and cigarettes and everything was pretty rampant. So that helps that situation. There's one in Northwest and there's one in Northeast up in Madison City also. But I've been able to visit every correctional facility, some of them many times, several times, and the work that they do wherever they are really makes a difference. So we appreciate them. It doesn't cost the state a thing, and they make their profits off of what they do and what they manufacture and sell. The inmates make money that they put in an account for them when they do get paroled out, and they can use that money, like they said, for they can buy a home or buy a car. Transportation is a huge thing. Get back with their family, and most times do not recidivate and come back in. So thank y'all for being here. Just want to mention some of those things that y'all do.
Yeah, they talk about, there's only two things that we have a state mandate for, and that is for license plates to be made by offenders and also the offender clothing. Other than that, we compete against the free world, so we keep good fair market prices with that. So anything you can do in Madison County, I know the new jail that they just put in there, we'll take, we actually have gone on them and got a little bit of the business. We're trying to grow it at Madison County and work with them on mattresses and their cleaning products. That's the main things that we sell to the county sites. But yeah, it's Senator Jack, I appreciate all your support that you have for us, because that means a lot. We're going out, and Mr. Lawrence he's on our board, so he's one of our board of directors, and so we're great to have him there. We've got a great board. As David mentioned, we've got nine individuals on that. They represent one part of the manufacturing, the operations that we do across the state. So none of them have the same background or same work history from that. So it's a really good board to work for.
Well, thank you for coming.
This program you've been watching was made possible through the generous financial support of West Tennessee PBS viewers like you. Please visit westtnpbs.org and make a donation today so that we can continue to make local programs like this possible. Thank you.
It's all about home.